Drupal is one of the most powerful, flexible content management systems out there, the engine behind everything from government websites to complex enterprise intranets, when a page builder CMS like WordPress just isn't structured enough for what you need. Like most serious open source software, you can run it yourself on your own infrastructure with full control over the codebase, the data, and how it scales. The reason Drupal specifically intimidates people who'd otherwise self-host is that a real production Drupal setup isn't just installed on a server. It needs a proper database, a caching layer so it doesn't fall over under load, shared file storage so uploads work correctly across multiple servers, and an actual deployment pipeline, since Drupal sites are code you update over time, not a one-time install you leave alone. FOSSonCloud, by the AWS consulting firm Ordinary Experts, packages all of that into a single CloudFormation stack. Aurora MySQL for the database, Elasticache Memcached for caching, EFS for shared file storage across servers, and a full CodePipeline, code build, code deploy pipeline, so pushing updates to your site is a git, push, and deploy workflow, not a manual SSH and pray process. It's fully open source, so you can read every line on GitHub before you deploy it. This video will walk you through the entire setup. Before you deploy, you need two things: a Route 53 hosted zone and an SSL certificate. To obtain these, go to Certificate Manager in the AWS console. If you already have a certificate, click into it. If you don't, click Request, Public Certificate, and enter your desired hostname. Once you request it, it'll take you to a page that looks like this. Copy the ARN value and make sure your domain name is created in Route 53. Next, you need to subscribe to the Drupal pattern by FOSSonCloud. From the website, on the Drupal product page, click Deploy on AWS Marketplace. Or you can go to the AWS Marketplace and search Drupal on AWS by FOSSonCloud. Click View Purchase Options, then subscribe to it and launch with CloudFormation. Once you launch it, it'll take you to a page with a preloaded template, and all you have to do is configure a few parameters. The first parameter is the stack name. Pick any label that you'll recognize, so I'll use Drupal Demo. Next, you'll need the ALB ACM certificate ARN. This is the ARN value that we copied earlier. Your ingress CIDR is who can reach your site. 0.0.0.0 is typically used for a public site. However, if you're just testing, you can restrict it to your own IP addresses. Next is the DNS Route 53 hosted zone name. This is your root domain exactly as it appears in Route 53. For us, that is test.patterns.ordinaryexperts.com. Your DNS hostname is your subdomain prefix. Combined with the hosted zone, this is where your site will live. For us, that will be drupaldemo.test.patterns.ordinaryexperts.com. The rest of the parameters have sensible defaults that don't need to be touched for a first deploy. Scroll down to click Next, Acknowledge, Next, and Submit. The deploy will take about 20 to 30 minutes to fully create. You can watch the progress under the Events tab. Once your stack finishes deploying, Drupal is already sitting on the instance, ready to install. There's no code to push or pipeline to trigger for a first launch. Go to the Outputs tab of your CloudFormation stack and open the DNS site URL output link. You'll land on Drupal's own installer. Choose your language, then select the standard installation profile. That's the recommended starting point. Finish the remaining prompts, site name, admin username and password, and your email, and Drupal creates your live site and drops you into the admin dashboard. That's it, your site is live. Your stack also provisions an Elasticache Memcached cluster, but Drupal doesn't use it automatically. Out of the box, it caches to the database instead. That's completely fine for testing or a low traffic site. But before you send real traffic to this, it's worth flipping caching over to Memcached, since it takes a load off your database. In order to do this, go to the EC2 console, find the instance for your stack, and click Connect. Then go to the Session Manager tab, and then connect again. No SSH keys needed. Once you're in, go back to the Outputs tab and copy the commands from first use instructions. This will enable Drupal's memcached module. Then open up the local settings file using the command sudo nano sites/default/settings.local.php and add the following line to the settings section. Once you've done this, save and exit. Drupal now routes its caching through your Elasticache cluster instead of the database. You can do this anytime, right after install, or later once you're ready to move toward production. That's the full setup, a production-ready, auto-scaling Drupal site with real caching, shared storage, and an actual deployment pipeline live in your own AWS account, deployed from a single CloudFormation template. Real ownership of your CMS without the operational headache. And if you run into anything, every FOSSonCloud deployment includes a free 1-hour onboarding Zoom session. Our team will walk through your specific setup, answer questions, and get you running. Ongoing email support with a 2-business day response time is included as well. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to working with you.